Good evening, everyone. This is your evening news recap. I hope all of you guys had a wonderful day. My day was all right. Today is April 19th. It is Saturday, right? I believe. Excuse me. Hope all you guys had a wonderful day. We got a lot of news to cover today. Only two segments, though, from the Trump administration and other news, per usual. Yeah, not too much to talk about before we get started. In a different area today. My family's not home, so I'm actually able to record this episode in my room instead of in my vehicle. So, this my room, this my bedroom. It's been in my TikToks a few times. Um, yeah, not much else to say about that. I'm chilling out with the cat. Here, let me go get Bray. We're chilling out with Pepper, hanging out, doing the news recap and all of that, huh, Pepper? We're having a good one. It's sorry, dude. It's spring break, so getting some relaxing in, having a good time. That being said, let's get started on tonight's news recap. As mentioned, two segments today. So we're going to open up with the Trump administration, per usual. From the Trump administration segment, we have the Pope sends a deputy to lecture J.D. Vance on compassion. Moving on. After that, Trump has said egg prices are getting too low. The Pope has sent a deputy to lecture J.D. Vance on compassion. Pope Francis skipped the Vatican's official meeting with J.D. Vance on Saturday, instead having his number two give the vice president a lecture on compassion. Pope Francis was absent from Vance's conversation with Cardinal Pietro Parolin. The statement from the Vatican said there was an exchange of opinions on international sanctions, especially regarding countries affected by war, political tensions, and hard and difficult humanitarian situations, with particular attention to migrants, refugees, and prisoners. It called for serene collaboration between the White House and the Catholic Church in the United States. Vance's office said in a statement the two discussed the plight of persecuted Christian communities around the world and Trump's commitment to restoring world peace. I find this absolutely hilarious. The Catholic Church isn't known for the greatest things, and obviously we don't know what specifically was said in the meeting, but I think it's great that they have decided to stick it to the Trump administration on multiple occasions now. I do wish the Pope would have done this himself rather than having, his second in command do it. I think it would be a lot more entertaining if the Pope was berating J.D. Vance rather than a cardinal. But, J.D. Vance was still had his shit handed to him on, the situation with the Trump administration and really how it affects the entire world. Kudos to the Pope. And I'm not religious. I don't stand for a majority of the things the Catholic Church does because, a lot of them are kind of messed up. But, at the end of the day, religion is cool and believe in whatever you want to believe in. Just don't force it on me. That's all I want to say to that, Moving on. Trump says egg prices are getting too low. President Trump talked about the cost of eggs on Friday, claiming that the prices are getting too low. Trump said Agricultural Secretary Brooke Rollins is doing a great job and then claimed egg prices are down 87%, but nobody talks about that. The president said on Friday, "You can have all the eggs you watch. We have too many eggs. In fact, if anything, the prices are getting too low. So I just want to let you know that the prices are going down. As of Friday, the average price of eggs is $7 depending on your location and the supply of eggs in your location." Eggs still cost more or around federal minimum wage, and it shows very little signs of slowing down in any way. Do you guys think, this is a question, do you guys think Trump is lying himself, or somebody is going up there and lying to him and that is why he is lying to the American people. Could it be a mix of both? Yes. But honestly, I mean, where are you getting that from that egg prices are going lower when we're still dealing with the bird flu making egg prices higher? Not to mention the fact that we have already asked multiple countries throughout the world to ship in eggs to our country because we don't have enough to supply them for the American people. Egg prices are not going down. I mean, in no way are they going down. In fact, they are only rising and show no sign of going down um, ever in the coming months. Honestly, I think it is a mix of both of Trump being lied to and Trump just up and flat lying himself. Um, the worst part about this, although, is Trump supporters are D1 yes men and are going to continue to support the Trump administration and anything that Trump says. For anyone who doesn't know, D1 is like the top level of college athlete, or not even college athlete. I believe high school has D1 now. My hair was like in my face, and now I'm trying to fix it, and now it's just not going well. But I wouldn't be surprised if shortly, we see a lot more Trump supporters kind of push for this narrative that, egg prices are at the right price, and they didn't need to go any lower because they've always been this price, And the fact of the matter is they're not. And this isn't normal, and they have not always been this price. But again, won't be surprised if we see Trump shorters try and justify this shortly. Moving on to the other news segment today, we have a few things to cover. The Supreme Court has blocked deportations, anti-Trump protests, and Big Ten schools have created a mutual defense compact against Trump. Let's get started. The Supreme Court has officially blocked deportations. The Supreme Court temporarily blocked the Trump administration from deporting any Venezuelan held in Blue Bonnet Detention Center in Texas. The court said in a note that the government is directed not to remove any member of the putative class of detainees from the United States until further order of the court. Justice Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito dissented from the ruling. The ACLU yesterday had asked the Supreme Court to block any deportations as they had expressed concerns about Venezuelans being deported unjustly. This is some good news. It seems to be unclear how long this pause will last for, but for now, deportations have been stopped as long as the Trump administration listens, and that's a whole problem within itself. Hopefully we can get these flights ended for good. If Trump will listen for once. But for now we just got to continue and speak out against what's wrong and speak out for our beliefs. Because that's really all the people can do at the end of the day. And I know that's unfortunate to hear and to say. But I mean, against a tank, man isn't winning the fight, if you know what I mean. So, moving on. Anti-Trump protests have been happening across the world today. Large-scale protests and rallies and other actions against the Trump administration are taking place across the world this weekend, with organizers calling to seize what they say is a growing resistance to anti-democratic policies. The 50501 movement, which led protests since the start of the Trump administration, leads this one, as well as hundreds of other groups. Hunter Dunn, the press coordinator, for the 50501 movement, said, "We are pro-democracy, we are in favor of preserving the Constitution. We're against executive overreach, and we're non-violent. 1,000 events are expected nationwide, according to Dunn, and probably more than that. We won't know until they happen." And yes, today, thousands of events have happened, not only in the United States, but across the world. I believe I heard about protests in Italy, and I think I heard about some protests in France as well. Not too quite sure about that one. I only had one source talk about that. But, protests are happening across the world. Protesters, keep keeping your voices heard. I'm glad to hear that these protests remained peaceful for the most part. I don't believe I heard anything that they were unpeaceful or anyone did anything wrong. We have the right to assembly and a peaceful protest. That's something they can't really take away from us, as it's in the Constitution, and I know they're going to try and fight the Constitution, but at the end of the day, those are our rights, and those are the rights that have been given to us. If you plan on attending any protests in the future, I know there's some tomorrow as well. Please, if anyone tries to get violent, walk the other way. That is either likely a Fed or somebody you just do not want to be involved in. If you know that it isn't a Fed, please convince them to do otherwise, because the Trump administration desperately wants us to act a little violent, especially with what might happen tomorrow. But we'll get into that in a little bit. Anyways, thank you for making your voices heard, and good luck to anyone planning on going out to any protests. For the final segment today, we have the Big Ten has created a mutual defense compact against Trump. The Big Ten group of colleges is creating a mutual defense compact to fight against Trump's ongoing attacks on universities. The Faculty Senate of Rutgers University began the initiative on April 6th. When they passed a resolution to establish the compact among the Big Ten's 18 universities. The resolution said, "Be it resolved that Rutgers University Senate urges the president of Rutgers University to formally propose to help establish a mutual academic defense compact among all members of the Big Ten Academic Alliance." Rutgers' resolution has since been joined by at least 4 universities, with Michigan State University becoming the latest on Tuesday. The resolution says schools that participate should be willing to make legal counsel to any institution that is facing pressure from the Trump administration. The University of Nebraska, Indiana University, and the University of Massachusetts Amherst have also adopted the resolution. A college NATO was not on my 2025 bingo card, but this is great. I hope not only do more schools follow suit, but more than just the Big Ten takes part in this. I don't know if the Big Ten is going to allow other colleges to join, but I hope they do, because colleges need to continue and speak out to, defend their students that pay them so much money, by the way. Because at the end of the day, if I'm going to college and I'm going to pay a bunch of money for my tuition, I expect my university to protect me and protect my rights as a student. I feel like that shouldn't be a question, but unfortunately, many universities have already begun to fold to the Trump administration. That's all the news I have for today. Not too much else I have to say, really. Let's get into tomorrow with the chance of Trump enacting martial law under the Insurrection Act. As we've heard, the word on the street is Trump wants to enact martial law tomorrow through the Insurrection Act. My cat wants out. Give me 1 second. Sorry, guys. Okay. So as we've heard, tomorrow Trump might enact the martial law within the Insurrection Act. So what happens if that does happen? I've mentioned previously that I have thought about ending my opinion section if this happens. Given some more thought to that, and honestly don't quite have an answer for you guys there. I guess you'll find out tomorrow when there's no opinion section, or if there is or not. Hopefully, Trump does not enact martial law through the Insurrection Act tomorrow. I know that's something we're all hoping for, but we don't know if it'll happen or not. Because that would be terrifying on so many levels. Especially with protests happening tomorrow. I think if it does happen, we will probably see some terrifying videos tomorrow. That is the bare minimum. Um, but yeah, I don't really know what my plan is if martial law is enacted. As much as I would like to speak out and continue to speak out and continue to say my piece, I am still worried to some degree because, as I had mentioned, I'm finally at a point in my life where I have an opportunity to kind of free myself from not the greatest situation, and I'd rather not risk that opportunity right now. But um, I'm gonna kind of assess the internet views on this. There's a lot of content creators that I follow that I want to hear their opinion and see what they do before I make any formal decisions because I don't want to just be the one person who doesn't say anything. But also I do kind of want to put myself first to some degree. That's something I don't do very frequently, and I feel in this situation that that is something that I do have to consider and think about. But yeah, with that being said, not too much else I have to say about that. I'm sure we will talk about it tomorrow if something happens, but if not, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, with that being said, thank you everyone so much for watching tonight's episode. We're out a little early today. I'm recording this before 6. It's about 6:06 now. Wasn't too much news coming out, and I kind of need to do some other things. So figured I'd, get this one done, get it out to you guys. If I missed anything, I'll have it in tomorrow's news recap. But yeah, with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. If you're on YouTube, please consider dropping a subscribe, liking the video, dropping a comment. We're on our way to 100 subscribers, and I would like to get there as soon as possible. Always been a dream of mine to, get a YouTube play button, so that's really the goal. But we'll get there one day, I'm sure. If you're on Substack, please consider pledging your support. All the funds go to me. They help me pay for the things that I'll need to pay for in college and, all the things on that line. But, subscribing is always free. I would really appreciate that as well. But yeah, thank you everyone so much for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully. My birthday's tomorrow, but, um, yeah, that being said, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow. Later.